A little kid asked his mom, "Mommy, where does thunder come from?" Mom said, "That's a great question. Let me tell you. So where do you think the thunder comes from? It comes from the heavenly angels playing bowling. They're so happy and excited that when they knock down all the pins that they start singing, and that's how we hear the thunder." The little kid then asked, "Where does the snow come from?" Mom said, "That's a great question. Let me tell you. It comes from the angels having fun pillow fights with each other up in heaven. And when they're having so much fun, the feathers from the pillows go flying everywhere. And those feathers are so light that they float all the way down to the earth, and they look like beautiful white snow and snowflakes." The little kid then asked, "Where does the rain come from?" Mom said, "That's a great question. Let me tell you. So where do you think the rain comes from? It comes from God. You see, God is up in heaven watching over all the children on the earth. And sometimes God sees children not getting along, fighting and arguing and being mean to each other. And that makes God very sad. So he cries. And those tears that fall from God's eyes turn into rain." The little kid then asked, "Where does the sun come from?" Mom said, "That's a great question. Let me tell you. So where do you think the sun comes from? The sun is God's big, bright, beautiful smile. He smiles so much because he loves children, and he loves watching them play and have fun and be kind to each other. And when you help out with your chores and get along with your brothers and sisters, that makes God's day, and it makes him shine extra bright." The little kid then looked up at his mom and asked, "Do you think God is smiling at me right now?" Mom said, "Well, let's ask God." So the little kid closed his eyes, put his hands together and said, "Dear God, are you smiling at me?" Then the little kid opened his eyes and looked up and said, "I knew you were smiling at me. You were so happy because I was kind to my sister today, sharing my toys with her." Mom said, "That's right. God is very proud of you for being kind to your sister." And then they all gave each other a big hug. Story number 2. Once upon a time in a faraway land, there were two kids who were arguing about everything. One day their mom said, "You know what? You guys are driving me crazy. Go ask God for some answers." So they went upstairs to their room, shut the door, and started asking God questions. The boy asked, "God, where does thunder come from?" And God said, "It comes from me playing bowling with the angels. And when they knock down the pins, that's the sound you hear." God said, "It comes from me playing bowling with the angels. And when they knock down the pins, that's the sound you hear." Then the girl asked, "Where does the snow come from?" And God said, "That's the angels having fun, having a pillow fight with each other." Then the boy asked, "Where does the rain come from?" And God said, "That's me crying. I have tears, but only when I see children not getting along. It makes me sad." They felt bad that they were causing God to cry. So they went back downstairs and apologized to their mom for being naughty and not getting along. And then she said, "Well, that was very nice of you to do, but now we have to go to bed." So they said, "Okay, good night, Mom." And the next morning they woke up and their mom wasn't in bed. So they went downstairs to ask God another question. The children saw a rainbow and wanted to know where rainbows come from. So they asked God. God said, "The rainbow comes from my heart after crying and hearing you pray for forgiveness." The boy asked God, "Where does the sun come from?" And God said, "That's me smiling and being happy. You know, when you help out with chores and get along with others, that makes me happy." Then they understood that they needed to be kind and helpful to each other. So from that day on, they shared their toys and helped each other with homework. And whenever they heard thunder, they would laugh and say, "Let's go ask God another question." If you and your children enjoyed the story and lesson, please subscribe to my channel so you can receive more from this channel. God bless you and your family, and have a wonderful night.